Hey guys, how you doing? It's Ed. It's your sports marketing and promotions professor. This is the video that would have been class Wednesday, October the 6th, 2021. I was going to get this to you sooner, but it's been a little bit of a busy week. So I'm getting this to you today, Sunday, the 10th of October, in hopes that today or tomorrow or sometime between now and Wednesday, the 13th, you'll watch this. What we're going to do on this video is I'm going to just overview the big project that we're going to have you do for the entire rest of the time in our class until December. When we get together in class this coming Wednesday, the 13th, after we talk about the articles and the website review that you're doing each week, and some of you share about the articles that you've read and your analysis of those articles, the next thing we're going to do is talk about our group project. Now, the group project that you're going to do, I'll call that actually a team project. In our leadership class, we talked about a little bit about groups and teams, and we'll do that again this Monday night too for those that are in the leadership class. But I'm going to put you in teams. I think we have 15 or 16 of you in class, so probably 3 teams. So 2 teams will have 5 people, 1 will have 6. If we are at 16 still, I believe we are. The idea behind this is you are going to create a sports event. Most of you in your introductions, not all of you, but many of you in the introductions on our first night talked about the interest that you have in sports events and event marketing and event management. Some of you, I think, even have a little bit of experience in that area. I have a lot of experience in that area. That's one of my background expertises is in sports marketing and event management. I still do a lot of events now outside the sports industry as well. And I'm going to bring in some experts that are going to come in via Zoom over the next several weeks who have a lot of expertise in sports events and marketing and promotion and social media and so forth as well. So you're going to meet some experts, hear from a lot of people who've been doing this for a long, long time and doing it well. So my plan now for this video is I'm just going to kind of overview what we're going to be doing, get you thinking in terms of what type of event you might want to create. Individually right now, I want you to begin to be thinking about what are the types of events that would be very exciting to you that you'd like to create so that when you are in your team, you come into it already with some thoughts that you're having, that you're not just thinking about this for the very first time when you sit down in class. I'm going to give you time on Wednesday night in class, in your team, probably quite a bit of time in class towards the end of the night to really start working on your plan. And I'm going to give you assignments as we go. So if you have your textbook, I'm going to share the screen now, and you might want to take a look at the textbook as well. Let me just make sure that I have the screen ready to go. I think I got the wrong screen up for the text, but here we go now. So the textbook, as all textbooks are, of course, is broken up into various chapters. And here we go. So chapter 1, which I'm going to hit just here in a little bit, we're going to just talk a little bit about the introduction, but there's areas in the textbook that I want to talk about here momentarily. For example, I want to talk about market research tonight on this video, or today as you watch this. We're going to talk a little bit about the 5 Ps, introducing the 5th P, but all 4, the 4 Ps, we'll talk about that. And then just really the power of sports marketing. As you look at the various chapters, now your project that you're going to work on as a team, you're going to create a sports related event. And this event can be anything. Literally, there is no framework as far as what's not okay and what is okay. All I want is for you as a team to create some sort of an event. Could be around your favorite sport, could be in your home country, could be here in America, could be a sport you know nothing about, whatever you want it to be. So you're creating an event from scratch, an event that doesn't take place. So what you cannot do, actually, I correct myself, you can't take an event that already exists, like the US Open in tennis, and say, we're going to create a better US Open, or the Masters golf tournament, or the World Cup soccer tournament, football, as we joke about. It can be something in those sports. It can be a sporting event in golf or tennis or soccer or basketball or whatever. It will be an existing sport, most likely. It doesn't have to be. You can create a sport if you'd like, if that's what your team decides to do. That'd be kind of cool. But it takes components of that sport, and it creates a completely different event. So it has to be an event that doesn't exist in a sport, most likely that does. And whatever area you decide, wherever you decide to do this event, that's entirely up to your team. You're going to create an entire marketing plan. You're going to do market research. You're going to start planning the pricing and sponsorships and a social media team, a social media plan. You're going to identify a cause, a philanthropy, a charity where proceeds from this event will go, and you need to determine what that charity is and why. So as a team, in your little team of 4 or 5 or 6 people, you will create all of this together. I'm going to leave time, a little bit of time every Wednesday night in our class for you to meet together with your team. I will tell you that I believe it's on November 3rd. I will not be able to meet with you in person, but we will do something on Zoom that week, probably later that night. I'm receiving an award in Orange County, which is about an hour away from the Riverside campus, and it's that Wednesday night. I can't control that. It's a great honor, and I'll tell you about it later. But it's something that where I have to be there and give a speech and put a tuxedo on and all that fun stuff. So that'll be kind of cool. But that night I will not be able to hold class in person, but we will have class on Zoom. And what I'll probably do is set up time to meet with each of your teams individually during that week to make up for the classroom time. While I'm thinking about it, in fact, the other thing that we need to talk about, and we'll do this in class on Monday in the leadership class and Wednesday in the marketing class, is I've arranged for us to get some LA Galaxy soccer tickets. It's a Saturday coming up later in October. We'll figure out transportation and who all wants to go, but just remind me when I see you all in class to talk about this. Back to the project. So you're going to create what's called a SWOT analysis. That's identifying as a team, looking at your event. The S for SWOT is strengths. What are the strengths of your team, of this project, of this idea? We'll talk about that in detail in class on Wednesday, by the way, so you have more of an idea of what a SWOT analysis looks like. The W is weaknesses. What are the weaknesses that we have? The O is opportunities. What opportunities do we have with this event? And the T is threats. What are the different threats that we have? And we're not talking terrorist threats as much as we're just talking about weather or bad economy, or a big pandemic comes along and suddenly wipes everything out. So a lot of different, areas of the SWOT analysis that we'll talk about in class. We're going to talk about market research. How do you do market research for this? How do you decide the best event, the best location, and so forth? I've got Jenny and Katie from McKinsey Corporation, one of my clients and 2 of my closest friends, who are going to come in on Zoom in a couple of weeks and talk to you all about market research in the sports industry. These are 2 of my favorite people in the world, and I can't wait for you to meet them and for them to meet you. We're going to talk about just marketing. How do you market and promote a new event? We're going to talk about advertising. Where do you advertise? How do you advertise? You're going to create an ad. It's going to be fun. I promise you it will be. Like I said, you're going to create a social media campaign. How do you promote this on social media? I'm going to have you write some social media posts and identify what your strategy is for when and where you will post those things. You're going to identify, as I mentioned, I think a nonprofit or a charity where proceeds will go from this. So the idea there is for you to start thinking outside of just the money you're going to make for yourselves and your team and your event, but where you're going to donate. What other causes are you going to support? And then you're going to present this in our class on the final week of class. The second Wednesday in December will be our final class. I believe December 8th, if I'm remembering correctly. Each team will present to the class your event. Now I'm going to show you an example right now of one project that one of my classes did back in about 2015 or 16. They all loved water sports, and 2 of the girls on this team, they're all from France, actually. I think 1 German potentially, but mostly from France. The one thing they had in common is they loved water sports. So when I set them up the first night or second week to start planning for their event, the plan that they create here, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and get back to just right here. What they did was they came up with an event that was around water sports. Some of them like skiing, others like surfing, some like wakeboarding. So they decided to create an event that they, I believe, called the Olympic Wave Riders. I'm going to show you their video. You don't have to create a video. We will talk in class. What I do want is I want an oral presentation that you will give to the class in front of the class on that final night. There will also be a printed report that you'll give to me. And I'm going to talk to you in the next couple of weeks about business planning, how to create a business plan. We're going to keep it very simple. We're not going to, this isn't a business planning class, it's a marketing class. But part of any great marketing plan is a great business plan. And so I will show you the structure of creating a business plan, but really we're going to focus in on the marketing aspects of it because that's what this class is about. So you will need to create and print up a marketing plan for me to have because I will read through that and that'll be part of the grade. So let me show you this video really fast of the Olympic wave runners that one of my other classes created. It's pretty cool. It's like I said, you don't have to create any kind of a video for this. Sorry, I got to just make sure I have this correct here. But I just wanted to show you what this particular class did so you can kind of get an idea of, again, don't create a marketing video unless you have the ability to do so. But this will just give you an idea of what this one particular group did. So here we go. Make sure that I share the sound. And here we go. So this group created this Olympic Wave Riders. And again, please don't think like you have to create anything like that. They were doing a video for another class as well. So it overlaid into this. But what they did is they created their SWOT analysis, their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, their threats. This particular event was this water sports event, like an Olympics type of an event, all on water, to take place in San Diego, California. And so I'll just tell you right away, one of the threats, the T in the SWOT analysis, had to do with weather. When San Diego weather is almost always great, but what if it wasn't that particular week? So they identified a social media plan. They figured out how to market this, how to advertise it, where they were going to promote it, how are they going to price tickets and sponsorships. You will do all of that as well for your event. And again, your event can be anything. It doesn't have to be water sports. It can be an event that you're familiar, a sport you're familiar with that you all love. We'll talk more about that in class. So again, if I go back now and I share the textbook and the chapters of the text, you'll just kind of see what we're going to work on. So I'm going to talk about these 5 Ps here in just a moment. In fact, let me just do that now really fast, just since it's right here in front of me. The 5 Ps when it comes to marketing is the product. So in your case, the product you'll see right here in the middle of the page if you have your textbook. In this case, it's actually an event. So your product is this particular sports event that you all are going to create. The place is the obvious. Where is this going to take place? What's the geographic location? Is it in Australia, France, Germany, South America, San Diego, Los Angeles? You pick the place where this event's going to take place. The third P is promotion. How will you promote this? How will you advertise it? You'll create a public relations plan. How are you going to go out and sell? Are you going to hire people to go out on a street team and knock on doors, or go into the various businesses that you think would be great to participate in this? Pricing, the fourth P. How are you going to price tickets? Are there going to be sponsorships? How are you going to pay the athletes if that's the type of event you're creating? Completely up to you. The sky is the limit as far as what you create, but you got to figure out what the event is. That's the first P, the product or the event. The place, where is it going to take place? Where is this event going to occur? How are you going to promote it? That includes the social media promotion, which we're going to talk about as well. How are you going to price this? And then the fifth P that is outlined in this book as far as progress is concerned. How will you know that you're making progress towards getting to your goal of getting this event implemented and executed in a timely manner the way you want? So those are the things we're going to talk about when it comes to the book a little bit. We're going to skim through the textbook throughout the last 8 or 9 weeks that we have together, because each week you're going to be doing something from the textbook for your project. So for example, when we get into sports advertising, that's where we're going to, click into chapter 7 and really go into some of the components of the chapter as far as how do we tie these Ps, the 5 Ps we just talked about, into advertising the event. We're going to talk about some sample advertising campaigns, types of sports advertising, grassroots, going out and knocking on doors, things of that nature. Maybe cross-promotional. Perhaps you're going to promote an event that's very similar to another event in another part of the country, or another event in the same area of the country, and you're going to cross-promote. An example, when I worked in minor league baseball here in Southern California 15 years ago, we promoted with the Major League Baseball team nearby. So if you bought a ticket to one of their games, you also got 2 tickets to one of ours. Or if you brought one of their tickets to our concession stand, you'd get a free hot dog and a soda, things like that. So cross-promoting is where one event promotes for the other event. We'll talk about that. Maybe you're going to promote your event through other areas as well. So then we get into other chapters, cause marketing. I talked about that a little bit. You're going to identify a cause or a charity or a nonprofit that's important to your team. And I told you, I think in class recently, that my wife and I support Multiple Sclerosis Association of America, MSAA, because my wife has multiple sclerosis, or MS. We also support Autism Speaks because we have 2 grandsons with autism. We support some different cancer research organizations because we've had family members in the past die of cancer and others who have cancer currently. So we tend to support causes that are near and dear to our hearts. And so as a team, when you get together at some point in the next few weeks, identify maybe a couple, but at least one cause that your project or your event will support and why, and determine what percentage of the money that you make will go to that nonprofit. So that could be an area where you do some cross-promoting as well. Social media, big part of what you're going to do in this. All of you are very familiar with and use social media regularly. So we're going to talk about how to use social media to promote your event, this event that you're creating. If you're doing Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Vimeo, all the social media platforms a whole lot better than I do. Where are you going to promote this? How are you going to promote it? I'm going to ask you to write some sample social media posts and say, you know, what's the strategy for how we're going to promote these and where and how frequently. You're really going to have a really great, I'm excited because you're going to have this really awesome marketing plan for this event that your team is going to create. And all of the things that you're going to do in this event are going to come up through our textbook. So we're going to learn by reading the textbook. You're going to learn by us talking about what you read. But most importantly, you're going to learn by doing what you've read and what we've talked about. So you'll read about social media, we'll talk about it, but then you're going to create it. You're going to read about cause marketing. We're going to talk about cause marketing, but you're going to do it and so forth. So I'm very excited about that. And then as I scroll forward, events and sponsorships, you have to create a sponsorship plan. What types of sponsorships are you going to sell? Are they television ads? Are you going to create is this going to be on TV, or are you going to do commercials, or are you going to do signs at the event? If you go to any kind of sporting event, you'll see signs all around the arena or the stadium that big companies and some smaller companies have paid for to promote their company within big time cross promotion there. Nike puts an ad up in a stadium, boom, cross promotion right away. So we'll talk about events and sponsorships. And then we'll talk a little bit more of these last few chapters that have nothing to do with your project. But really what we're going to do is tie into this particular project by use of the textbook. So just to recap, and I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to send this to you here momentarily. I'm going to put some subtitles on. As you've noticed, there's English subtitles on the bottom because I do tend to talk fast. Is for you to start thinking now about what type of an event is interesting to you, so that when I put you in your teams this coming Wednesday, you've already been thinking about it. Skim through the various chapters in the textbook. All of you emailed me and told me the 2 or 3 chapters that were the most fascinating to you. So as we go through on Wednesday again, and I set you up in teams, I really want to have you set up. I have a pretty good idea already of who's going to be on which team based on your strengths and your interests. We'll move things around a little bit. I want to make sure that we have a good mix of interest within your teams, and be thinking about your role on this. You will be graded on, I'm not going to grade you on your English delivery and your grammar and your ability to speak the language. I'm also not going to grade you on your actual presentation, the way you present. Some people just naturally get up in front of a group and speak better than other people do. Some of you understand English better than others. None of your grade for this is going to be how you present or your grammar or anything like that. So don't worry. Your entire grade for this, well, a couple of things. Number one, you'll be graded by your team. I'm going to ask everybody in each team to grade their teammates. Did you all participate evenly? Did you all contribute? Did you all make every meeting or Zoom call or conversation that you scheduled? If one of you on the team doesn't really do your part of the work, the team's going to tell me. And you will as well. If somebody on your team doesn't participate, you'll all get a chance to really contribute when it comes to the grading on that. And the other thing you're going to do is you'll be graded on, I'll be able to tell how much work you put into this, not just you individually, but as a team. I don't care if this is an event that really has a shot to be a real event or not. That'd be great. But really, it's more, how well did you apply the things that you learned in our classes, in the textbook, in the conversations that we've had? It'll be very obvious to me if you did the work, and you'll be graded based on that. So for class this week, we're going to go through just a recap. Be prepared to talk about the articles that you've read, or the article this past week, and your analysis of that article, another website that you've looked at for another sports related organization and your input on that. That's an assignment you have every week. And then to be prepared to go through the overview of this group project that I'm going to put you on. Probably within an hour of class time, you'll be in your team, and then you'll get about an hour as a team to start really going through and just brainstorming and coming up with some fun ideas. By October 20th, I expect you to have your event nailed down. and figured out each team what the event's going to be. And I'm going to ask you to give me just a really a quick overview, written summary of what it's about. And I will work with each team individually on Zoom throughout the week, in class, after class, each week. And then you'll also have opportunities to talk with some experts in certain areas. If you say, hey, Ed, we really need to talk to somebody about social media, then I'll put you in touch with my social media expert who can coach you, or market research, or advertising and promotion, or sponsorships. I've got experts lined up ready to talk to all of you about all that. So I'm very excited about what we're going to do. I'm going to stop recording now. This is the lecture for October 6th, 2021. So please watch all of this and be prepared when you come to class on October 13th. And I look forward to seeing all of you on Wednesday night, October 13th. And for those of you in the sports leadership class, I will see you on Monday night.